Each one of us has a different character. Part of the things in our character, they promote us in life towards success. Part of the things in our character, they kind of make us fall behind. They cause our relationships to be less attractive. And really, if we could choose the perfect character, such a character that whatever we do in life will be precise, will be true and correct, will allow us to create the right kind of relationships, succeed in work, and in relationships in the family, with the spouse, I'm sure that each one of us would love to choose the right character, the perfect character. And today on this show, we'll try to understand what is our character? What influences it? What influences our relationships? Can I really identify my character and the character of others? What's the role of the character? Why are there so many traits? Do we need them all? And do I really know myself? This is a key question, a big key question in my ability to influence my life. And let's really start with the first question. In your opinion, what is a character?
We have a person as a unit, separate from a lot of many different units who resemble him, 7 billion, they say, even more, like him. These people also come from a small quantity of people that once was, basically from this ape that became a person throughout time. And these people, in their character, they're very simple. Even though different characteristics we see in animals. And it's very obvious. There's differences between this cow and that cow. In apes, even more. People who work with animals, they differentiate a lot of differences between that and this. Meaning, it doesn't concern only a person. Those who even deal with fish, they say these kinds of fish have this characteristics and this the other, but for species, not for each and every fish. It means there's a general characteristics of a species, and sometimes even they separate even more to kinds of species. In people, we have different characteristics for Mexican, come from Morocco, German, all sorts of... It's clear. And English, and a French. It's clear. When we talk about someone, there's a general stamp on him, like a character of a nation. But within a nation, as we know, there's many different kinds of character. Let's say France. We have from the center of France, south, north France, from my acquaintances. In Italy, we have even more, south and north, very different. Generally, north and south have a different character in general, but inside this general character, there's differences. It's interesting. This difference is from birth. And also afterwards, to a small extent, we can say that it gets more characteristics from education and the environment, but basically it's from birth. We see, even on a small child, he's more of a thinker, more of a viewer. He sees and observes, and the other one, he runs around and before he even thinks. The one is a bit of melancholy. There's all sorts of... there's 4 types of characteristics that also split into 4 more, which is in general 16. But it's very limited, I would say. But it's clear that a person is born with it. And what's interesting, what you were born with, and with this you die. You cannot change it. Impossible. In some way, in the environment, you can make it more subtle towards the environment through the fact that he doesn't want to get hurt, he doesn't want to harm someone else. In accordance with that, he limits himself, he emphasizes something that he has on top of the other, but it's very small changes that he makes throughout life, but basically you cannot change. It's impossible. Whoever is born in some way, he will live this way and he will die this way. This we know. That's why we only have to know how can we correctly use the characteristics of a person for him to be worthy of life, society, success, towards himself, towards others, and so on. How to use his character. Also, when we receive people for work or society, we check all these tests that we have in a job interview. Not only do we check his knowledge, but we also check how can he fit in our society, our company. These tests is not only IQ of a brain, let's say. It's also a matter of his readiness, emotionally, his readiness to be in contact with the society, because without that you can't achieve any success. So characteristics is very important. I'm not talking about couples relationships and education, close groups like the army or workplace, schools, a classroom. We're there. Everywhere we need experts who can work with the characteristics of a person. This is basically so. Now, where did this come from? All this integration, not integration, this difference in character. The difference in character comes from the same way we have 4 blood types, like we have north, south, east, west. The world and nature splits into 4. It's like the whole of nature. This box is separated to 4 different parts. No matter whether it's up, down, side to side, or separated in different angles, but always 4 parts. Also humans. They are also split into these 4 parts. And this separation, it gives us the ability to see that all these characteristics, all these differences are essential for humanity and nature. And our problem is how to use it correctly so everyone would fit in together like hinges or
like cogwheels. Why? But why?
let's say you have plus and minus and you don't have a connection. There must be a connection through male and female. What I have and you have. Something has to be lacking in one, and one has to be in abundance, and there has to be a connection between them. In nature, in our character, in our emotion, everything. In a person, he includes within him hundreds of cartwheels, and every one has to connect in the right connection with hundreds of different wheels of the others. It's hard to imagine how we are built in a way that's ready to connect with the whole, the complete whole.
Maybe to understand this a bit better so our viewers can understand, if you can a bit depict these four kinds, these four types of people that you talked about.
It is known already for humanity since ancient times that these four types are phlegmati. It's clear, right? A person who is heavy, he settles, he has a hard time to exit himself, to move him around. He has this inner heaviness. Sometimes they also look a bit heavy. Choleric, it's the opposite. Choleric is a person who moves very fast. He's excited, he's explosive, he can't sit still. He can't wait for someone. He's really unrest.
Yeah, he's restless, right?
Sanvinik. It's something that's more towards philosophy, a bit slow. It's hard to describe. You can read about it in Wikipedia and everywhere. And melancholy. He tends towards to melancholy, a bit of depression, minor tone. So these four types.
What's the difference between the sanguinic, the one who's more a philosopher and more slower, and the heavy one, the phlegmatic?
Sanguinic is more happy, and melancholy is sadder.
And the phlegmatic one?
Phlegmatic is a bit heavier in his reaction, and choleri is faster in his reaction. But you need to you can take all these definitions from the sources. It's simple psychology. Things are written. I was never dealing with it specifically. Through my profession is a systems profession. In systems, my systems, it's not so relevant, all these things. It's too simple. But what I want to say is these types of people we have to have in every society, every whole society, that they, between their connections, will build the form of this big picture, big united whole picture. And they add to one another. It's impossible to run the society without these four types. Also in the government, in education, culture, everywhere. We also see in the creations of a person, of humans. There's this kind and that kind. It's also interesting, we have periods in history that there was more influence from the phlegmatic side. There were periods that were more influence from the choleri. Also times are somehow separated to these periods. It all depends from our surrounding general nature, which is also split into these four boxes. Like we have day, night, evening, morning. In everything.